They say the most exciting part of an MMA fighter's career is the time they spend rising through the ranks of their division. Questions are answered and doubts emerge as we slowly begin to get a sense of who these prospects truly are. Some of these names are right in the thick of the top 15, others are barely getting started. But these fighters are some of the fastest rising stars in MMA today. Number 10. Yuri Prohaska. He might be next in line for a shot at the UFC light heavyweight title, but if you think that we're even close to seeing Yuri Prohaska's star potential, think again. Sure, he's got a tough task ahead of him in the resurgent champion Glover Teixeira, but if he can earn the win, expect the public to jump on board heavily. Despite being just 2 fights into his UFC account, Prohaska has already shown himself to be an enthralling presence in the weight class. Creative as they come and lethal with a wide range of weapons, it's not hard to imagine a scenario where Yuri becomes a major breakout star this year. He's got the look, the attitude, the fighting style, and the track record needed to establish himself as a huge fan favorite moving forward. Number 9. Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell is a man who is known just as much for his wild interviews as he is for his talents inside the cage. But after earning an impressive win on the scorecards against Edson Barboza at UFC 272, it's clear that he's a real threat. Blessed with stellar abilities when the fight hits the mat and an ever-improving ground game, Mitchell seems destined to break into the top 5 before the year is out. Effective takedowns, submissions, and overbearing top control are this unbeaten prospect's usual go-to. But again, he's unbeaten and still quite young at the age of 27. If he can continue to round out his game, expect him to make a real splash before too long. And with a 6-0 record inside the octagon already under his belt, it's clear to see that he's well on his way. Number 8. Alex Pereira. Next up, we have the former pound-for-pound number 6 kickboxer on the planet, a man who shares some pretty heavy history with our current middleweight champion. Alex Pereira is a name that most will know, primarily due to his brutal knockout of Israel Adesanya during their days fighting in glory. But now, after a pair of victories as an MMA fighter inside the UFC octagon, Dana White and his team seem determined to fast-track him into title contention, setting him up for a major step-up in competition in the form of Sean Strickland at UFC 276. Despite only fighting 6 times in MMA, he's being thrown in there with the number 4 ranked middleweight in the world. Sure, he might be given a harsh lesson on the levels that exist within the game, but mark our words, if he can get past Strickland, you can all but guarantee that the UFC will be setting up that rematch with Adesanya, a fast-rising star in the most literal sense of the phrase. Number 7. Kevin Holland. They call him Big Mouth due to his habit of talking during his fights, and for a while, it seemed like Kevin Holland was going to struggle to move past his reputation and find his momentum in the cage. But after a 3-fight winless streak in 2021, Holland managed to pull off a crucial victory, knocking out Alex Oliveira at UFC 272 to firmly re-establish his name in the win column. He may have some clear holes in his wrestling, but at 29 years of age, time is certainly on Kevin Holland's side. And by the sound of things, he's been working hard to fill out the gaps in his skill set, even calling on Daniel Cormier and AKA to come to his aid. Maybe he's not the most concrete pick of the lot, but if the Trailblazer can round out his game and find his way into title contention, his upside for a potential draw for the company is actually quite big. Number 6. Tom Aspinall. Speaking of upside, Tom Aspinall could well be the most exciting prospect to emerge from England. There's no way to be certain of how well he will do once he's standing across from the likes of Francis Ngannou or Cyril Gane, but in his most recent showcase against Alexander Volkov, we were treated to a truly masterful performance. Not only does he move like a man half his size, but his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has been a core component of his skill set for years now. Likeable, down-to-earth, and with a whole nation behind him, if Tom Aspinall can continue his winning ways and earn a shot at heavyweight gold, seeing him become a major superstar will only be the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this 29-year-old phenom. For a long time, the heavyweight division was stagnant, but in recent times, it's pretty obvious that a shift is happening, and this rising talent is front and center in that movement. Number 5. Tai Tuivasa. Another hard-hitting heavyweight up next, a man who is known just as much for his thunderous knockouts as he is for his love of drinking beer out of shoes. No matter how you feel about his gimmick, it's not like Tai Tuivasa doesn't have the results to back it up. A run of 3 straight losses was enough to shake a lot of people's faith in this Mark Hunt protege. But like any great hero, his character was proven beyond any question when he managed to rack up 5 straight knockout wins, blasting his way into the heavyweight top 5 after running through Derek Lewis in Houston, now seemingly just 1 fight away from a title shot. Will it be more shoeys for Tuivasa in the second half of 2022? Or will he fall short of making his career comeback a truly great one? If that isn't a compelling storyline, we don't know what is. Number 4. Paddy Pimblett. It's not easy to understand why Paddy Pimblett has become as popular as he has. With his magnetic personality and instantly infectious attitude, this Liverpool native has managed to become one of the year's breakout stars. And while most would agree that he has a lot of work to do to really become an elite fighter at 155 pounds, So far, the Paddy the Baddy experience has been more about his unmistakable charisma, both inside and outside of the octagon. Because, if we're being honest, seeing him taking shots on the chin due to his lack of head movement somehow manages to make his ability to pull off the win a bit more impressive. To put it simply, Paddy Pimblett is just a lot of fun, and instead of bogging yourself down by pairing him up with Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira in your mind, we'd urge you to just sit back and enjoy the show, because this guy is without question an entertainer at heart. Number 3. Islam Makhachev. After a slow and delayed rise to the top of the lightweight division, Islam Makhachev has finally found himself a spot within the top 5. And while we all know just how popular he is on the back of being so close to the global superstar Khabib Nurmagomedov, if Islam can finally make his breakthrough over the next 12 months, expect to see his stock rise significantly. Like Khabib, Makhachev has a legion of devoted fans who will defend him from even the slightest criticisms. But it's the recent shift in Islam's results of late that is really starting to get people excited. Before 2021, Makhachev had only scored 3 finishes in his 8 UFC outings. Jump forward to today, and he has gone 4 for 4 with 3 submissions and 1 TKO, proving that he is slowly shedding his image as a more patient fighter to become one of the lightweight division's most dangerous finishers. Number 2. Sean O'Malley. Is it strange to still call Sean O'Malley a rising star? Well, Sugar Sean is certainly a household name in every area except his UFC bantamweight division ranking. But the reason he places so high on this list is due to his truly massive upside. He's not even ranked in the top 10 yet, and it's easy to find a spot for him among the biggest stars in the promotion. Through his electric fighting style, his successful podcast, and his many business pursuits, O'Malley's brand is in a very strong position, far surpassing his actual achievements inside the octagon. If he can, in fact, make a run at the belt and add a level of competitive legitimacy to his cabinet, Sean O'Malley has the potential to be quite a big superstar. 2022 is looking set to be a very interesting year for the 135-pound division, and whether you love him or hate him, you shouldn't be surprised to see this deadly striker right back in the thick of it before too long. Number 1. Khamzat Chimaev. Sure, he's the number 3 ranked welterweight in the world, but if you think that Khamzat Chimaev's star power is plateauing, think again. Chimaev might have been made to look human by the elite talent that is Gilbert Burns last time around, but after watching this Chechen standout emerge from a war like that with the win, we managed to learn far more about his mettle than we ever thought we would. Chimaev has it all: the fighting style, the personality, that type of magnetism that only comes along every now and then. Many fans have had their doubts about whether he is ready for Kamaru Usman or not, but with some real momentum behind a possible fight with Colby Covington, it seems as though the UFC matchmakers are about to strike gold. Out of all the names on this list, it's easy to point out Chimaev as the most promising potential superstar of them all. The only question now is whether he can live up to the immense hype that surrounds him. Remember, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button before leaving a like and comment to let us know your thoughts. And as always, thanks for watching.